My name is Arvind Gupta and I'm a senior citizen of Pune. I came here in 1975 and since then I've been off and on in Pune, and now for the last 13 years I've been in Pune. And I used to come to the FTII in the mid-70s. I had some very good friends over here. I saw lots of films over here. And of course I've been keeping track of the strike in the FTII. Today probably is its 42nd day. And I think it's to put the strike in a much wider context. Since the new government has come, their aim is to get their people into all the institutes of higher learning, all the institutes of education, because ultimately they want to control the mind through a certain ideology. And one can see glimpses of this in the National Book Trust. We've had very eminent people in the National Book Trust. And now we have a person who is a journalist, but who is very close to the corridors of power and who was at one time the editor of Panjan, but probably understands very little about children's books. Similarly, we have the Indian Council for Historical Research, which has had very, very eminent people. You may say it was left dominated. But you see the person who is now the president or the chairperson of the ICHR has a very small body of work to his credit and very low credibility in terms of international standing, and which lowers the prestige of that institute. Similarly, with the FTII, it's been a premier institute which has churned out and which takes poor children, middle-class children, all kinds of people. And, we produce the largest number of films in the world, so it's one of the most important industries for us. And such a place of creativity, of innovation, should have someone who has certain credentials, who has demonstrated this creativity earlier, because it's only under such a nurturing atmosphere that more talent would come out. And one sees the person who has been appointed by the present state doesn't fill that bill, and which is very sad. Even the society, the FTII society, where all the party workers have been put in without any deep understanding of cinema, and which is, I think, a sad commentary. And I think this struggle, it's a very small institute, but the struggle which has been sustained for 42 days and which has everyday reverberations in the media, both in print and on television, it actually encourages others to take on democratic struggles. It gives a tough fight to the state. They just can't roll over sensibilities. Ultimately, the Indian state is very, very powerful. They may do what they want, but then the world will see what they're doing, and this will lower their prestige. So I think, and it's a small institute, so it's all the more creditable. When I look at the struggle in IIT Madras, where the Periyar Ambedkar study circles were banned, which has, there are 18 IITs today which have a pan-IIT network. So this, you could see the rumblings of this in many, many campuses and across cities in India. And there are millions of Dalits in this country which were out on the streets. Many political parties which stand by the Dalits oppose this. And I think that struggle, in that struggle, the state had to backtrack immediately, and rightly so. It's a tougher struggle for the FTII students because it's a very, very small institute. But I think if the government has any vision, and it's rooted in our economics, our film industry is one of the biggest film industries in the world. They must maintain this autonomy, this creativity. And I urge the powers that be to look into the matter very seriously. Audiovisual is probably the most powerful medium and for any kind of communication. And I think in trying to appoint a person with very low credibility and to push a party line in that, I think it's a very bad attempt and a sad attempt on the part of the state, because they would like, you know, all right wing parties want to maintain the status quo. More films which are mythological, which have no contemporary relevance. That's the kind of thing. And but the whole purpose of art is to open up minds, to to inculcate a questioning attitude in society. And I think a chairperson of such low credibility would not be able to inspire people. And despite being a very small community of the FTII, I think its contributions are much more significant than its small numbers. And I personally feel that, there used to be only one National Institute of Design. Now, in various corners of the country, many design institutes are coming. So India needs many more film institutes, regional film institutes. And I think some of the students who pass out from a premier institute like the FTII would one day run these. They would become faculty there. They would inspire. So it's a much larger role than just the film industry, but too it's a blossoming of numerous institutes across the country. You can see this in the debates in the parliament. Now the government is on a back foot. In the parliament session is on. Today is the third day. It's a washout. The opposition is wanting the indicted leaders of the BJP to resign, but they are brazening it out. The BJP is brazening it out. So it's a back foot. But I think that ultimately the Indian state is very powerful, very powerful. And you see, this is a small struggle. It's a democratic struggle. And if they want, I think, if they're serious about it, and they don't seem to be, they could just road roll. They may shut the institute. They may do. I think there's a distinct possibility of that. They are inching towards, this government is all for privatization. They may hand it over to private players, etc. So it's a very likely scenario, and it's been hinted in the media several times. And all this about spending so much money, I think this is all bunkum. We need to invest. This is not just spending. This is investment in our people, which have spawned such a big industry. So we need many more institutes like the FTI, not just one. And I think if they have any vision, the FTII should be, it's like a teacher training institute, which trains a lot of very competent, compassionate faculty, which goes and starts and nurtures similar such institutes in the regions, that it should look upon it.